You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Mike Lodge. I'm glad that you've joined me. I tell you, this past weekend was a beautiful weekend. I spent it down in Newport Beach. Had a great meal with great friends. And I tell you, it was the most enjoyable weekend I've had in a very long time. You know, I'm so busy right now doing taxes and everything else and advising companies on what to do for this year that I forget sometimes to stop and smell the roses, stop and look at the sea, and just take some time out just for myself. And I think we all have to do that from time to time. The other issue that happened over the weekend was the political issue, and that's with Mueller's report that came out to the Department of Justice, stating very clearly, I think, that there was no collusion and there was no conspiracy by anybody or any American with the Russians to hurt this nation. So we heard a lot of rhetoric over the past 2 years. I mean, we have heard lies, especially from Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff has probably been the biggest liar of any politician out there. Constantly going after the president every single day and calling him a liar, calling him a traitor, and calling him despicable names. And lying to the American people that he had more information than Mueller did. So we have a big issue. And I think about this now because I've had a couple of days now just to mull it over in my mind. And if you look at everything that has happened and everything has been said on the media, both left and right, but what has been said, what has been trying to get us to believe that we had a traitor as a president, I think became very dangerous to the American people. I love my country very much. And from day one, 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago, when this all started to come out, I could literally tell that it was nothing but nonsense. Nothing but a political power play to destroy an individual that the media and Democrats did not feel was worthy to be president. Now, when you listen to all of the words and all of the claims and all of the name-calling over the last 2 years, I think you and I, if we were to sit across from each other, as we're doing right now, we could probably agree that we, as Americans, were attacked also. Every single newscast, every single newspaper, every single magazine that was out there, every single political podcast, Politico, everybody that was out there was trying to destroy one single man. And it was all about a lie. It started within the Obama administration, and it went through the FBI, and it went through the Department of Justice, and it came from Hillary Clinton. And it was such a mixed up mess that everybody in the media decided, you know what, we can destroy one single man, and that's the president. And there are members of Congress right now who are starting to waste taxpayers' dollars again on investigations. Do you realize that when Congress investigates, it's just not their staff, it's a whole bunch of investigators. It's in individuals who are tied up on a chase that leads to nowhere. And that's what's happened in Congress, and it's happening right now. Adam Schiff and Nadler and all these individuals out there who are congressmen who hate the president so much are now beginning to waste taxpayer money again. Even though we already know what the end story is going to be, we already know that the president has done nothing, but members of Congress want to make it into a big deal because their one objective is to destroy that one man who sits in the White House, in that big Oval Office, and runs this country. Now, if you look at it, we probably really need to get down to the grits of how this all started. We need to know, did it come from the White House or did it come from the Department of Justice? Did it come from the Clinton campaign? Where did this start? Was it members of the CIA? Was it Brennan? Was it all these individuals who used to hold power? When did this lie begin? When did they begin to spin it? And it spun, and it spun, and it spun. Now, as an American, I'm going to tell you right now that I have probably had enough of it. As a matter of fact, last year, in 2017, I made a commitment that I would not listen or watch the news for more than 30 minutes a day because it was nothing but nonsense. Now we are at the point where we found out that the media was lying to us every single day. I'm so glad I limited to 30 minutes of lying. It's sad to say, but I don't even know who to listen to anymore. I try to find individuals who are middle of the road, because I think that's where Americans need to be, is in this middle of the road. Not too liberal and not too way out conservative, but in the middle of the road so that we can say, this sounds good, that doesn't sound good. This will work, that will not work. But instead what we have now are individuals on the left that are so way to the left that it will do a great damage to this nation. And it's starting to do it right now. We had the same things several years ago when the far right was so strong that they were condemning everybody who did not believe in what they believed. I mean, it happens on the left and the right, so that's why we need to get more to the center. And we need to be able to make clear decisions as Americans that will work for America. What programs out there that are going to work, or which ones are going to waste too much money, which ones are a duplicate of other programs out there. Those are the types of questions that we have. So I want to get back to this Mueller thing in Congress. Congress has got to stop now and start focusing on what needs to happen in America. Do you know that we've got roads? I was driving down the freeway this evening coming to my hotel, and I was looking at the roads, and I was literally dodging in between potholes on the freeway coming to Pasadena. If you go on our highways across the nation, we have an infrastructure that is out of date and is not being repaired fast enough. We have homeless in the cities of San Francisco and Los Angeles and Chicago and New York that we need to address. We have states that have huge poverty rates that need to be addressed. We have overspending in government agencies that need to be addressed. But instead, they want to take down a president instead of helping this great nation of ours. We've got student debt that is way out of line. We've got a nation that is in debt. We've got Americans that are in debt. We've got a tax system that still needs to be repaired. There's more work to do on the tax system. But instead, what Congress wants to do, they want to spend more. I'm almost tempted to send a letter to Adam Schiff and say, okay, listen, before you begin any investigations, I, as a taxpayer, want to know what you're going to spend taxpayer money on. If you're going to continue on investigating, I want to know how much you're going to spend of my money. And I want to know it in detail. What are you spending it on? How many hours are you going to spend on it? Or are you going to continue just spending taxpayer money until the next election of president? And I've got a feeling that's probably what you're going to do. But as a taxpayer, I have the right to know what you're spending my tax money on. All of us have that right to know. And if they're going to spend another $25 million to investigate the same stuff, then we don't have very bright people in Congress. And those individuals, if they're not that bright, it's probably time for them to leave. We as Americans have the ability to take back control of these politicians. It's time that politicians are no longer representing a party only, but they are representing the needs of their constituents. Those congresspeople from San Francisco who are allowing people to take drugs on the street, to live on the street, to urinate and poop on the street, and not doing anything about those cities for not taking control of the issues that affect all of their citizens, then those individuals should not be in Congress because they really don't care. Otherwise, they wouldn't allow it to happen within their districts. But it does. It goes on. Because they have another political agenda, and that is to allow everyone to do whatever they want to, whenever they want, to whomever they want, and wherever they want. We need to tell these members of the Senate and the Congress, do a better job. Before you start spending money on another investigation, I want you to tell me how you're going to spend that money and and how long it's going to be. And I want to know, could you not take that $25 million that you just spent and put up a homeless shelter so that the homeless are being taken care of in San Francisco? Just a question, just throwing it out there. So we have too much wasted money, too much wasted time when this nation needs a lot of help. Why are you Congress people who represent Chicago not doing something about the individuals in your city who are killing black on black? That is the biggest question that I have seen go on so far. And individuals are dying every single day, every single weekend. But Congress does nothing about it. Nothing. So, at the end of this day, after listening to the report that came out of Mueller's office and out of the Department of Justice, It's time that we as Americans and we as a country tell these members of Congress it's time to focus on America now and not on politics. This political games that you've been playing for the last 2 and 3 years, enough is enough. We deserve to have a better nation, better road system, a better system where homeless and mental illness is being taken care of, but you don't even focus on it. You don't even care about that because you're so focused on impeaching one single individual. So this is something that we need to focus on and we need to fight for as Americans over the next, forever. Because politicians go off into left field and they forget to come back and start working with the American people. Until you tell them, listen, you're going to do it again, you're going to play this game, this political game, then you don't deserve to be in that office any longer. And those politicians who have lied to our face for 2 years about treason, about conspiracy theories, about all this stuff, they need to go. It's time that we get rid of politics and start putting people in that are going to do something for our nation. Now, I know some of you probably don't agree with me. That's okay. I'm just expressing to you how I feel. That's coming from my heart. Because we have so many things that need to be done in this great nation of ours to make it even greater. And politics is not one of them. Trying to impeach somebody is not one of them. Trying to destroy an individual is not one of them. But if you want to come to your districts, and if you want to start working for those people around you, now some of you members of Congress are chasing business away from your districts. Why? Because you don't like capitalism. That's the issue. You don't like capitalism, which is another political theory. Instead of thinking what's good for their districts and what's good for the people, they want to play politics again. And this game of politics is getting America nowhere. It's just spinning the wheel of politics and politics and politics and lies and lies. And it's got to stop. It's got to end. So that's my discussion with you this Monday evening, is that we need to get our nation back on track. Let the president do what his job is. Members of Congress, do your job. Members of the judicial branch, do your job. And those of you in the military, do your job. But if you're going to play politics in any portion of your job and not focus on the well-being or the well-keeping of America, then you're wasting our time. So that's it for this Monday evening. This is Mike Lodge for the WBT. If you have any questions, if you want to make any comments to me, just send me an email at mlodge@lodge-co.com, and I'll be more than happy to respond to you. I'll talk with you very soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.